Bowser's family has long been a Gordian knot of confusion. For years we thought the Koopalings were his kids. I mean, they were even known as the Koopa Kids. But then along came Bowser Jr. in 2002's Super Mario Sunshine, and at first, he seemed to fit alongside the others as a weird 8th Koopa Kid. But that line of thought was soon dashed when Nintendo declared that the Koopalings weren't actually Bowser's kids, but were just other Koopas under Bowser's employ, making Bowser Jr. Bowser's one and only child. Right? Well, as it turns out, there are even more Koopa progeny out there that were introduced before Bowser Jr., the Koopa Kids. No, not these Koopa Kids who are no longer his kids, but these guys, who went on to become a staple of the Mario Party series, until they weren't. So are they really Bowser's kids as their name implies? And whatever happened to these little party poopers? Well, it's time to cast the searchlight on these forgotten Koopas to discover just why they've disappeared and uncover the mystery of their family relations. Welcome to Missing in Action, where we take a look back at game elements that have mysteriously gone missing. The Koopa Kids' first appearance was in 1999's Mario Party, though they weren't known by that name quite yet. We'll get to that soon enough. And like the Koopalings before them, they served as Bowser's henchmen, but only on the final board of the game, the Eternal Star. There, rather than receiving stars from Toad, players had to challenge one of 7 Koopa Kids spread across the board. However, instead of simply spending 20 coins to buy the stars, players had to outroll them first, pull it off, and then the player had the pleasure of actually buying that star. But roll lower and the Koopa Kid would steal a star from them instead. Oof. Nevertheless, it served as a good way to change up the game's mechanics while building it up as the final board. But for North Americans, these little guys went by a different name at first. They were collectively known as Baby Bowsers. So that led to even more confusion. Are these Bowser's babies? Are they Bowser in baby form, perhaps through some elaborate time travel and cloning shenanigans? Just what the heck was up with these kids, or babies? Well, it seems the original Japanese version and European versions might clear things up. Well, slightly. In the European release of Mario Party, they're called Mini Bowsers, while in Japan, they go by Mini Koopas, which makes sense since Bowser is known as King Koopa in Japan. So essentially, they're just smaller versions of Bowser, mini-me's if you will, but that still doesn't fully explain their origin. It is odd that these Koopa Kids were created at all though, because there were already 7 Koopalings waiting to be used. It could have been a great way to bring the group back into a Mario game, especially since at the time they hadn't been seen officially since 1993's Yoshi Safari or 1994's Hotel Mario. So it could have only been a 5-year absence rather than the 10-year wait for their eventual return in Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. But the decision not to use the Koopalings likely came down to a simple truth. Only one character model needed to be created for the Koopa Kids. It's just a lot easier, especially when the Koopalings' appearance would have boiled down to little beyond an extended cameo. The Koopa Kids simply made more sense for Mario Party and kicked off their partying career as they returned in Mario Party 2 the following year, where they were still referred to as Baby Bowsers in North America. But rather than 7 of them, only one Koopa Kid is seen for most of the game. However, his role was greatly expanded. He now appeared on every board as a kind of alternative to Toad, taking over his previous spot whenever he moved around the board. While Toad would sell stars, the Koopa Kid would steal 5 coins from any player who passed him, though there was a slight chance that he would accidentally award 5 coins instead. That said, players could game the system by wearing a Bowser suit when passing by, guaranteeing a gift of coins. A Koopa Kid also appeared in nearly every item minigame where they acted as the losing option, awarding no item at all. Ironically, the only item minigame they don't appear in is Bowser Land's Bowser Slots, especially considering this is the board where some of the other Koopa Kids also appear, though not quite the full 7 from the original game. One acts as the host of the board instead of Toad, while another manages the Bowser Parade, which allows a player to change the parade's path for 5 coins. And finally, there's the one who manages the secondary item shop and forcibly makes players buy an item from him. These Koopa Kids also have some design variations amongst themselves, as the Koopa Kid banker is colored blue and wears glasses, while the secondary item shop is run by a red, monocle-wearing Koopa Kid. The amount of Koopa Kids were cut yet again in Mario Party 3, where there was primarily only one and it was still referred to as Baby Bowser in North America. The Koopa Kids' role had it acting as a counterpart to Toad once again, though this time the two both ran item shops. The Koopa Kids shop would randomly appear in place of Toad's, where he sold the trickster items like reverse mushrooms and Boo Bells. Technically, there was more than just this one Koopa Kid in Mario Party 3 thanks to a lone minigame, Baby Bowser Bonkers, but that was the only time more than one appeared on screen. The Koopa Kid wasn't just relegated to a clerk though, as long as you played one of the other modes. In the new duel mode, he acted as a possible partner thanks to the lottery. Stat-wise, both his attack and health is only 1, but he is able to occasionally transform into Bowser to deal triple damage. That said, the transformation can fail, causing him to do no damage at all. He was still an unpredictable troublemaker at heart, but this was the first hint of the Koopa Kid eventually becoming something more than a non-playable character. It was with the arrival of Mario Party 4 that the Koopa Kids finally attained their proper name of Koopa Kid in North America, and there might be a reason for that change. The game was released in 2002, the same year as Super Mario Sunshine, which introduced the world to Bowser Jr. Referring to the Koopa Kids as Baby Bowsers could have made Bowser's children all the more confusing to anybody paying attention. Still, it didn't help all that much, considering the Koopalings were commonly referred to as the Koopa Kids when they were first introduced, with even the Super Mario Bros. 3 manual proclaiming these are Bowser's kids. To further complicate matters, a Koopa Kid will actually refer to Bowser as Dad whenever he's called. So is he their father or not? Maybe other Mario Party games will offer a clue. As far as their role in Mario Party 4, a Koopa Kid would appear whenever a player landed on a Bowser space and would proceed to steal anywhere between 10 and 30 coins from that player, or even all of the players. And sometimes he would be really troublesome and call in Bowser for a Bowser event after that. Otherwise, during the Bowser minigames, two Koopa Kids could be seen as Bowser's servants, one which fanned him and the other that explained the rules of the minigame. These two are also seen helping Bowser during the final battle, where they attacked with fireballs as the player tried to solve a puzzle. More Koopa Kids can be seen in the final board of the game, Bowser's Gnarly Party, where they sell items and host minigames. But a Koopa Kid is playable in this game thanks to the extra mode, Beach Volley Folly, where it was joined by Toad, Koopa Troopa, Shy Guy, Boo, and Bowser as extra unlockable characters. But all of them were limited to this minigame, and even then only in free mode. So despite Bowser Jr. making his debut, the Koopa Kids were getting plenty to do in the Mario Party series. And that culminated in 2003's Mario Party 5, where a Koopa Kid finally became a proper playable character in most of the modes. There were still some limitations though, as he couldn't be selected for Story Mode or the Card Party, which made sense given Story Mode featured 3 unique looking Koopa Kids with a red, blue, and green variety. These 3 were the ones players would face off against in smaller versions of the boards, and were only slightly different from the usual playable design. And in Card Party, the Koopa Kids would appear to cause trouble if a Bowser card was drawn. It would be a little odd for a Koopa Kid to cause trouble for a Koopa Kid. The irony is that as Koopa Kid became more playable, the less important his role would be. In Mario Party 6, he was freely selectable in every mode, effectively making him just another character. The only other variation was the return of the red, blue, and green Koopa Kids, who were separate from the playable one and acted as the player's opponents only when challenging solo mode's minigames. It really appeared that for all intents and purposes, the Koopa Kid was just one of the cast at this point. And then it all came tumbling down. The Koopa Kids' roles immediately began to change with 2005's Mario Party Advance. One was no longer a playable character and instead could be seen working either alongside Bowser or as the opponent in one of Bowser's minigames. They could also cause trouble by stealing players' mushrooms or flinging them somewhere else in Shroom City. They were back to simply being Bowser's henchmen. What's even odder is that the Koopa Kids weren't limited to just 7 members anymore. Up to 99 could appear at once in some of Bowser's minigames. If they are all of his kids, Bowser's been one busy guy. And Mario Party 7 kept muddling the waters, as Bowser would call the Koopa Kids son, although they themselves only called him Mr. Bowser. In this game, a Koopa Kid is still no longer playable, although he did receive his own space on the boards. Landing on it caused some of the same effects that a Bowser space did in the past, like Bowser Revolution or Bowser Shuffle. It could also cause minor effects like a cursed mushroom on the player who landed there. Otherwise, the tri-colored Koopa Kids acted as antagonists during the Bowser minigames and can even be seen operating the cannons on the Bowser's Enchanted Inferno board. And then there's the Solo Cruise minigame, Bowser's Lovely Lift, where a Koopa Kid acts as one of the hazards. But after this, the Koopa Kids completely disappeared. They didn't show up at all in Mario Party 8, and Mario Party 9 introduced Bowser Jr., effectively replacing them from that point on. Even Bowser became playable in Mario Party games thanks to the Bowser Party mode in Mario Party 10 and the main game of Super Mario Party. To rub salt in the wound all the more, Mario Party The Top 100, a game that recreated and celebrated 100 of the past Mario Party minigames, replaced the Koopa Kids with Bowser Jr. Not only had the Koopa Kids gone missing, but now they were being erased from history. But why this sudden change and total removal? It's never really been commented on or officially acknowledged, although it makes some sense that ND Cube wouldn't use Hudson Soft's original characters when they took over the series starting with 2012's Mario Party 9. So this all leaves the question hanging in the air. Were the Koopa Kids actually Bowser's kids or not? He may have called them son in Mario Party 7, but that's easy enough to explain away, since it could just be a term of affection rather than a familial bond. Is there a definitive answer? Well, not really, and that's because the story has officially been changed, as confirmed by Shigeru Miyamoto in his 2012 interview with Game Informer. When asked about the Koopalings being Bowser's children, he stated, "Our current story is that the 7 Koopalings are not Bowser's children. Bowser's only child is Bowser Jr." And there it is. Full confirmation that the Koopalings were retconned to no longer be Bowser's kids. Now they're more of a special minion team for him, hence the portmanteau that makes up their name. Koopa and underling. Koopaling. That also means that the Koopa Kids are not Bowser's children either, at least not canonically. It's difficult to say what the original intention of Hudson Soft was with their creation, but these days it seems likely that Nintendo considers them just a group of kids who happen to bear Bowser's likeness with no parental link to Bowser. Which all raises another, debatably more important question. Is anybody going to do anything about how much child labor Bowser uses? That can't be legal, right? While the Koopa Kids had a good run in the Mario Party series, it seems unlikely that they'll ever return. Even if their boards from past Mario Parties are brought back in a future game, their roles would likely be replaced by more well-known Mario characters, as evidenced by the Top 100 using Bowser Jr. instead. I mean, after so many games in the series, they only just now let Goombas be a playable character in Super Mario Party. In the end, the Koopa Kids are simply an idea whose time has long since passed, though it is fascinating to see how their roles grew as the series went on, until they not only vanished, but were actively removed from Mario Party's history. Yikes. But what do you think? Could the Koopa Kids actually see a return? Do they deserve one? And is there anything else that's gone missing that you want found? Let us know by posting in the comments below, and we may feature it in a future episode. Thanks for watching, and make sure to click that subscribe button for future Missing in Action episodes and even more from GameXplain.